Hello, in the previous videos we created the clan system, and in this video we're going to create the basics of the clan wars. So just like before, you can download the source code of the entire project in this video's description. There is also another link to download this file just in case you're interested in following this video. So I'm going to extract that. Let's open this up. First, I'm going to start with the SQL file. Let's go to the database and let's select all the tables, and I'm just going to drop them all, and this way they're all going to be deleted. Now I have a blank database. I'm going to go to import section and import my SQL file. And just like that, it's going to import all the tables for me. Now after that, I am going to start with the data script. So let's go to the server project first. I'm going to find the data script and open that. There's also another data script inside the draft folder. I'm going to open that up as well. I'm just going to select all the contents of this data script. I'm going to copy it. Let me just close that. Let's go back to the data script on the server side. Select all the content here. Remove it and replace it with the new content. I'm going to go and do the same thing for our client. The data script, here it is. I am just going to select all the content, remove it and replace it with the new data. Let's go and take a look at the other scripts. First, I'm going to delete those two files. So these three scripts are going to go to our client. We already have a UI clan script, so we are going to start with this one. I'm just going to open this. I am going to select all the content, and I am going to copy the content. Let me close that. Let's go to our client in the UI clan script. I'm going to select all the content here, remove it and replace it with the new data. So I am going to save this. Now we're going to get some errors. To fix these errors, I'm going to go to scripts, UI, and let's drag and drop the other two scripts here, UI war member and UI war member select. I'm going to drag them to my client in the UI script, and that is going to fix a few of the errors. We still have some errors for our request IDs. There are 3 request IDs that we need to add to our player script. So let's do that here in the player script. This is the request ID. You can just type them, or you can go to the functions. I have a script in this draft folder called functions. First, let me just delete these. And let's open up the functions. It includes 4 different regions. So the last region here are the new request IDs. I'm just going to cut that and go to the player script, and I am going to paste it here. So that is our new request IDs. We can do the same thing to our server project here in the terminal. In the data region, I am going to add the new request IDs here. So let's go back to the functions script. So that's one region down. Let's take a look at the database region. There are a few functions, as you can see. Let me just collapse them first. Now after we collapse all of these functions, let's go ahead and check this out. Get clan, get buildings async, get buildings, and get clans members. I think these functions already exist. So before we copy them, let's go and delete them first. So let's go to our server here in the database. Let's find the functions. Here we have a bunch of errors on these lines. So we had get clans. So let me just remove that. Here is the get clan member. I'm just going to delete that. And now we need to take care of the get buildings and get buildings async. So here it is, get buildings async. I'm just going to remove that too. So I think that's all of it. I think the get buildings is also a new function. So let's select them all and cut them, and let's paste them into our database script. Let's go down here and just paste it here. So we have one error. And let's take a look at these errors. So this is in the open clan. It says that it doesn't contain a definition for attacker. Well, let's just say instead of attacker, say clan 1, and instead of defender, say clan 2, and this is going to be also clan 1. So that's it. All our errors are gone now, and we are good to go. Now let's take a look at the functions. We have two more regions to cover. The first one is the terminal in the receive packet. I am just going to copy the content. Let's cut it. Do not copy the comment area. So let's go to the terminal. Here it is in the server project. I'm going to go to the receive packet. And at the bottom of this switch statement, I am just going to paste new conditions. And of course, let's go back to the functions. There's also a case elements for the player script. Let me just cut the values, and let's go to the player receive packet. Here in the client, in the player, I'm just going to go to receive packet, and at the end of this switch statement, I'm just going to paste it. So I think that's all of it. Of course, we can go to our sprites folder. There's a sprite here. You can use any sprites you want. It's just a temporary free sprite I got. I'm just going to change the type to sprite and apply the changes. Well, 4 megabytes is a lot. Let's change the size. Make sure you always use optimized pictures for your projects. That way you reduce the build size of your project, and it also improves the performance of your game. Now let's go to the scenes. In the game scene, let's open up the canvas and let's go to the clan. You'll see that if we scroll down, there is a bunch of areas with new variables that we need to create UI elements for them. So let's enable the elements first. Here inside the panels, I'm going to duplicate one of the panels. Let's duplicate the profile, and I'm going to disable the profile. This is going to be panel war. And let's select the clan and assign the panel war here in the UI clan script. So let's take a look to see which other variables are null. So let's take a look. In the profile panel, we need a button for war. So let's first disable the war temporarily. Go to the war, enable it, and let's just duplicate this button, name it button war, and let's drag it somewhere around here. I'm gonna set those to 0, change the text to war, and I'm just going to select my clan, and inside the UI clan script, in the clan profile area, I'm just gonna assign the profile war button. So now I'm going to disable the profile and enable the war. Now let's create the required panels. So we need 4 panels here. Let's start by creating an empty game object, bring it up there. I'm going to make it fill the parent game object and set these values to 0. The first one is going to be panel normal, let's say. Let me duplicate that. The other one is going to be panel search. Let's also duplicate this. This is going to be panel map. And also we need another panel called panel members. So let me select these and bring it up there. So we have 4 panels. Inside our war panel, let's hide this elements. So as you can see, we have 4 panels up there: clans, create, profile, and war. and the war panel itself contains 4 more panels. So I'm gonna start by the normal panel. I need a button, so let me just drag that one. I'm gonna enable that. This is going to be button start war. So let me change the text to start war. And let me bring it somewhere around here. Let's also duplicate this button. This is going to be button back, and let's bring this up here, and this is going to be navigating us to the previous panel. Let's just add this sign to it, and maybe the smaller size would be better. Let me set it to this. Now let's select our clan game object. Let's get down here in the clan war start. First I'm going to assign the panel normal, then button start war to the war start. Now button back. So that's pretty much everything that panel needs. So now let's take a look at the other panels. Panel war members, war search, and war map. Let's do war search. I'm just gonna copy the 2 buttons from the normal, paste it in the search as a child. So let's disable the panel normal. This is going to be button cancel, and let's set the values to 0. So this is going to be cancel war or cancel search. The button back is going to be the same thing. Let's also create a couple of texts. This is going to be starter text, and let's duplicate this text. This is going to be count text. Let's change the count text to 0 versus 0, and let's change the position of this text. Let's bring it here. Change these values to 0 and position it to center, maybe increase the size a little bit. I'm also going to change the value of this text. Let's first position it somewhere around here, and I'm gonna set these values to 0 and center the text. Well, let's change the position actually. Here we go. And now let's select the clan script. Let's get down to the clan war search area. I'm gonna assign the panel search. That is the cancel button. That is the back button. This is a starter text. This is count text. And that's pretty much it for the clan war search area. Let's do clan war members next. So to do that, first let me disable the search. Now let's go to the members. Here I need a list, so I could just use panel clans. It has a list in it. Let me just copy the list and bring it inside panel members. I'm just gonna bring it inside here. Well, the position is not bad, so I'm not gonna change the position. So let's go to the other panels here in the panel search and bring the button back. So let me just paste it here. So that is the button back. Let's bring it a little up. So that's kind of good. Of course, the UI design is up to you. You can design it however you want. Now let's go to the search and copy this cancel button. I'm going to paste it here. Let's bring it up there, or you can bring it down here, doesn't matter. Let's just put it here, and let's set this to 0 and change this to button confirm. And let's open this and change this to confirm. Let's also bring a text. Let's say count text is good from the search area. I'm just gonna paste it here, and let's bring it up there. So here we go, and let's set this to 0. That is also the count. Now for our list, let's open this up, create an empty game object. So this is going to be our element. So let's rename this. Actually, let's go to the UI. We are going to be using UI var member select script. Let's assign it to our game object. And now I'm just going to create a panel as a background for this. And of course, let's change the name. I'm just going to copy the name of the script. So let's do that. We need a text, so I'm just going to use the count text here and paste it inside the panel as a child. Let's bring it somewhere around here. So this is going to be the player's name. Let me just set these values to 0 and change this to name text. And also let's change the text to player and align it to left side. And of course I'm going to reduce the size a little bit. Let's also create an image, and I'm just gonna bring the image somewhere around here. Let's say this is good enough. This is just to show the player's level. Just gonna set those values to 0. Maybe select a knob or any image you want. And I am just going to choose any color. I'm just gonna copy this text, paste it here as a child. Maybe fill the parent, set it to 1, center the number, and let's reduce the size. And that's it. I think that's good enough. Let's copy a button. The button confirm, I think, is a good candidate. Let's paste it here and bring the button somewhere around here. So that's it. Let's say 0, 0, 0, and this is going to be button N, and let's change the text to N. So that's the N button. Let me just duplicate this to out and change the color. So let's change the text also to out. And I think that's good enough. Let's select the game object with the script attached to it. So this is going to be button N. This is button out. That is the name. And of course, we need a text for the level, which is here it is. And let's go to the prefabs, make a prefab out of this. So I think that's pretty much it. Let's just delete that. And let's go to the clan and assign the elements we've created so far for our clan war members area. So the prefab is going to be this prefab we just created, and that is going to be the parent of our list. We need a back button, that is the back button. We need a count text, we need a confirm button, and we also need to assign the panel itself. So that is our members panel. Let's disable that. So the last panel is the panel map, which we have here. Let's take a look and see what kind of things it needs. So let's start by creating the name and icons. So let's go back here. If you remember, we disabled some of these elements, so we can use the icon. I'm just gonna drag and drop this inside the map. The other ones, I don't think we're gonna need them, so let's delete that. Now this is our 4 panels inside war, and this is the last panel we are going to design. Let's select the icon and bring it up there. So I think this is good position for it. So let's set this to 0. I am going to name this icon 1. Let's duplicate this. This is going to be icon 2. So I am going to drag it here, and that's it. Now let's bring a text. Let's use a text from the search area. Here it is, count. I'm just gonna copy that, paste it here. So this is going to be the text we are going to use for the username of this clan. So that's it. Let's set this to 0, and this is going to be clan 2. Let's also reduce the size to something like that, and let's name this clan 1, and let's duplicate this and name it clan 2, and let's bring the clan 1 here. So let's change the position, set these to 0. This is going to be clan 1 actually. Let's also change the name to 1. This other one is going to be clan 2. So here it is. We need a button for going back. So let's copy that button, paste it here. And let's bring it down here. And let's set the values to 0. So let's select the clan game object and assign the values so far. So that is the back button. Here it is, war map back. That is the name 1. That is name 2. So let's go for icon 1. We'll open the mask. That is the background and icon for the 1. And let's open the 2. So let's assign the background and icon. Let's also assign the panel. Here it is, panel. And let's create 2 more buttons. Let's just duplicate this back button. This is going to be button enemy. And let's drag it up here. I think this is good place for it. Let's set these values to 0. Change the icon to this, maybe even increase the size a little bit, and let's duplicate this. Let's change the color to something like that first, and then we are going to also change the transparency. Something like this I think is good. Now let's duplicate that and change it to button allies. And let's change the text for this one to this. Now let's select the clan one more time and assign this 2 buttons. So this is button enemy. And for the war home, we are going to assign allies button. So now we are going to copy the list one more time from our clans panel. We need a list here. So let's just paste the list here. And this is going to be map 1. So let's select this map 1. I'm gonna make it fill the parent game object, set the values to 0, and let's drag it up there so other game objects will cover that one. So let me expand this, and of course I am going to go to the scroll rect, change the elastic to clamped. And now let's go to the content, create an image. And this image is going to be background. And I'm going to just select a blank image. Right now I don't have a background, so I'm just gonna use the color. So let's drag it and increase the height. Let's choose a better color. Something like this I think would be nice. Now I am going to create an empty game object and name this pose 00. So I am just going to move my empty game object position, the anchored position, to somewhere around here. Let's also set the height and width to 0. Also set the pose to 0. So assume this is your war map. This is the allies side, this is your side, and let's also duplicate this one more time and let's bring it somewhere, let's say here. So let's assume this is your war map, and for any empty game object you place here, one of your allies' castle is going to be placed. So right now I have placed 2 empty game objects. So the ideal thing is to add like 50 positions. So when you have a war up to 50 players, all of them are going to be placed on this map. Right now I'm just gonna create a few positions, but if you don't want to encounter any errors, you need to at least 50 positions, or any higher number if you have higher battle size. So for now, let's just create a couple of more. So duplicate that, maybe bring it here. And let's create another one, maybe here. Anyway, I think that's good enough. Now I'm going to duplicate this map. We need two maps. This is map number 2. And map number 2, I'm gonna drag it somewhere around here so we could see them both at the same time. So map number 2 is also having a bunch of positions, so you can just move it around and make it different than the other side. It's up to you, you can change it however you want to change it. So I think that's good for now. And let's select the clan and assign the new values. Let me see, here we go. For map number 1, I'm gonna select it and assign it to this. Map number 2 is going to be war map 2. We also need to assign the content. So this is the content of war map 1 and this is the content of war map 2. There's also 2 lists here, 2 arrays that you should assign the positions that you've created. So for war number 1, I'm gonna assign this positions, and I'm gonna do the same thing for war map 2. So let's go ahead and drag and drop the positions. And now when we are done here, let's go ahead and create an empty game object under one of these positions. Doesn't matter which one. We want to create a prefab. So I am just going to use this one. Let's create an empty game object. And now let's create a UI image and make it fill the parent game object. Let's select the sprite that we've imported. I'm gonna check the preserve aspect, and I'm also going to add a button to our image here. Let's say button, that's it. And we need to attach a script here in the UI war member. Let me just use the name of the script for this one. And of course, I'm going to drag and drop the script. That is going to be our image, and we also need a name for it. Let's go to the UI and text, and this is going to be name, and let's just anchor this to the top. Let's set the position to 0, maybe bring it up a little, maybe even change the width to 300, and of course I'm gonna anchor it to the center. And let's select the game object, assign the name here, and of course I need to change the position of this rect transform, but for some reason I can't. Let's bring it up there. Well, now I think we should be able to change the anchors. So yep, here we go. Let's see, I'm just gonna bring it to this place. So I think this is something we can work with. Maybe even make it a little bit smaller. Let's say here we go. I'm going to go to my prefabs and let's make a prefab out of this one. I'm just gonna delete that. Let's go to the clan game object, and I'm just going to assign the prefab to this variable. I think we've assigned everything, so let's take a look. Yes, I think it's pretty much everything. So I'm going to save the scene. Let's go to the start scene. And now before we start, let's go to the server, and here in the database script, let's go to the update function. Here it is, and I'm gonna expand that, add a few conditions. Let's say if it's not war updating. So if this is equals to false, then war updating is going to be true, and we're going to call the function war update. Let's also go to a function called leave clan async. Here it is, and let me expand this. There is this condition called if war ID is greater than 0, and this is going to return the response of 2. We're going to say greater or equal than 0. Let's also find a function called create clan. So here it is. Let me expand this, and I'm just gonna cut that, remove this if statement, and just paste it here. So that's pretty much it for our server. Now let's start the server, and of course we are going to play the game. So in order to create our clan castle, we need town hall level 3. Let's add another builder. And let's go to the database. Here in the accounts table, I'm going to add some gems. Also here in the buildings, let's add some resources. In the town hall gold storage, let's say 500,000 and 500,000 for elixir. And let's go back and start upgrading the town hall. And let's instant build. Now let's see if we can place the castle. Here we go, we have the clan castle. Let's go to the clan, create a new clan, and maybe choose an icon and create it. Now let's go to the clan, as you can see we have a clan. Let's go to the war, and we can go back, go to the war, start the war, and here we can select if the player is in or out. Right now we can't hit the confirm button because we need at least 5 players to start a war. Well, for the sake of this tutorial, let's go to the scripts, and in the data, let's go up there, and here you'll see an array of integers, clan war available counts. So we have 5, 10, 15, and any number you want to add, you can do that. Let's add 1 as well, so you can start a war with only 1 player. Let me save this. Now let's go to the client and start the game. I'm going to select my clan castle, go to the clan, go to the war, and start a war. I'm gonna select this player and hit confirm. Search started by player 1 versus 1. We can cancel the search. Right now the search is happening. Let's go back and close this. Now I'm going to go to the accounts and change the device ID. And now let's play the game one more time. So this is a new account. Let's place a builder as hot, upgrade the town hall, and let's take a look at the clan wars search. Right now the clan ID 4 with account ID 6 is searching for battle. Let's go to the clans. We have only 1 clan called whatever, and in the accounts we have 2 players. This is the new player. Let's add some gems. And let's go to the buildings and add some resources to the town hall. This is the town hall of the first player. This is the town hall of the second player. So let's add a huge number of resources. And let's go back. Here it is. I'm going to upgrade it. Let's instant build and place a castle. Let's also place a few other things. And let's go to the clan. Here we have a whatever clan. We can join this clan, but we need to create a new clan if we want to create the clan wars. So to do that, let's select the clan castle, go to create clan, and choose a name for this. Let's also change the icon and hit confirm. Now we have our own clan, and we can go to war. Let's hit the start war. I'm in and confirm. Clan war is started because there is already a clan searching for battle. The second you hit start battle, it just matched you with that clan. So let's hit OK. So for some reason the icon is not showing properly. So let's go to the other side This is the player from the other clan. Let's actually close that and rename the players. Let's go to the accounts. So I'm gonna change the name of this player to Joe, and let's name this one to Rob or something. And let's go and play the game one more time. And now if I go to the clan and if I go to war, you'll see that this is the Rob from this clan. Let's go to the other side. This is Joe from this clan. And we can go between them. The town hall icon, for some reason it's not showing. I'm gonna fix that in the next video, but for now everything works the way it should, and I think we are getting closer and closer to the end of this project. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and thanks for watching.